Anybody seen The Matrix in there? Well, good. Don't watch it. It's going to confuse you. But is it complicated? A soul. It's complicated to understand, but is it the force that tethers me to that flower, to that dog, to these lights, to all of you? That everything that was before and is to come all combined into one? Is that what connects it all? Is it super complicated? Or is it simple? Just a light in the darkness. A flame. How do you describe it? So first, to get to the soul, we'll look at life. What is life? So, by definition, scholarly definition, life is a characteristic that distinguishes physical entities that have biological processes. We have to eat, we have to seek companionship, things like that, such as signaling and self-sustaining processes from those that do not, either because such functions have ceased, they're dead now, they don't do those functions anymore, they don't have to eat, or because they never had such functions and are classified as inanimate. This microphone stand, it was never alive, it never had to eat, never had to do anything to be a microphone stand. It just is. So various forms of life exist, such as plants, animals, fungi, which is, mushrooms and everything, protists, archaea, bacteria, etc. So let's take a deer, since we've had some recent encounters with those. So a deer, it walks through the field, it is alive, right? So it eats, it seeks a mate, it drinks, it avoids danger when it can. But ultimately, its sole purpose is just to eat, to drink, to seek a mate when it can, and to stay alive. What about a car? Car can move. You put gas in it, so it does take fuel. But there's no life to the car. The car will just sit there. If something with life doesn't come into the car, it will sit there, it will rot, it will turn back into the earth, however long it may take. There's nothing alive about it. So what happens when the two meet? Bam! Eric will tell you. Yeah. So the deer, or it doesn't even have to be, a car. It could be hunting, for example. So at some point, a little girl got a gun. Let's say a deer was right here on stage, and I just pulled out a gun just to shock everybody, and I aimed it at the deer's head and pulled the trigger. Bullet comes out, bone, mash, bone, floor. The deer drops, right? A little bit graphic. The deer was alive right before that, but now after having a bullet, it is not. What happened? The deer's body's still there. It's almost exactly like it was. What left it? That would be more so its life, what you would describe as the life of it. So where does life come from? Genesis 1, in the very beginning of the Bible, in the beginning God created the heaven and the earth. And the earth was without form and void, and darkness was upon the face of the deep. And the Spirit of God moved upon the face of the waters. So now there's a spirit in the earth. And the Lord God formed man of the dust of the ground, and breathed into his nostrils the breath of life. Now there is life. And the man became a living soul. So life into man became the soul. Through the Spirit of God. That was first. All three right here in the first two chapters of the Bible. So let's look at the three different words. You guys know I like to use Greek a lot, and there are three different words for it. Life, which is zoe, and it just means life. What we just explained about the deer and everything. What separates us from being dead. Soul is your psyche. How many of you have heard about psyche before? How's your psyche and everything? The word is thrown around a lot. That is actually the Greek word for soul, and it's more so abstract or concretely a sentient principle. It's not just mere vitality, but some people will go to say, do the plants have a soul? Do the animals or anything? But it's more so the sentient principle, the rational or immortal soul. But it's easily confused with the spirit, and this happens a lot, and I do it sometimes too. But the spirit is pneuma, like pneumonia, but pneuma is the spirit, the Greek word for it. So it could just be a current of air or a breeze, but it is the rational soul, the mental disposition, it is us. But we are a spirit in ourselves, and we have a spirit, But there are lots of different spirits, evil spirits, good spirits, Holy Spirit. God is a spirit. Spirit of God just moved upon the water. The spirit is more so the divine concept in a life made of dirt, which is more where the soul would lie. So Matthew 16, for whosoever will save his life shall lose it, and whosoever will lose his life for my sake shall find it. So what is he saying here? A lot of us value our lives, right? We want to stay alive. But when it comes to our souls, we can't really even explain it. It's kind of hard to explain and everything. So, for example, and the importance of, has anybody ever seen the movie Braveheart? Just me, Eric, Mom, and Sean, huh? Okay. Well, Braveheart, just a dude. He's in Scotland, and it's a true story. The movie's kind of Hollywood, but he marries a woman, he's going to have a life with her. They say their vows, they get married under God. And then the king comes, and he's just like, hey, don't worry, I'll take care of all the ceremonies with your wife, the initial ceremonies, adults, and takes the wife, does his thing with her. Braveheart gets mad, comes in, and the king just kills his wife, just married her. Didn't even get to do anything, live with her or nothing. And so he gets really mad at the king and pretty much everything the king relates with, and he rebelled against Scotland altogether, went around, hey, are y'all tired of the king? Yes. Me too. Join up with me. Let's go do something about it. Are you guys mad at the king? Yes. So he rose up against Scotland, but in the end, he was caught, he was captured. So I wish you guys had seen the movie. This would have been a lot cooler, but in the end, what happens to Braveheart? What happens to William Wallace is his real name? He died. He was killed. So, but right before, as he was given the choice, he's like, look, we can make this really easy. Just kneel down, bend the knee to the King of Scotland, apologize, and we'll go ahead and end your life really quick. But what did he scream out right before he died? Freedom. He didn't care about his life anymore. And I'm willing to argue that he didn't care about his life from the minute his wife was killed by the king. Now who cares about his life? Now he had soul. Now his soul was what was leading his actions and everything he did. His soul was to get this evil, this corruptness out from the way of the people. So the people can live their lives with their wives and grow old. And right when given the choice, save your life or save your soul, he chose soul. Anybody seen 300? Anybody watch TV in here?
I watched it on accident. I didn't know what it was about. I went and watched it. I was blown away.
Yeah.
I was like, wow.
So 300.
I don't endorse it though. It's not Christian.
Yeah.
I close my eyes for the bad parts.
Yeah. The movie itself, the story has some logos to it, but again, so King Leonidas, it's the true story, the 300 Spartans. You guys heard about it? Well, King Leonidas was just king of Sparta. They were a bit weird and everything. And then one day, this massive army, the Persian army, this is a true story, really happened, came up to the gates of Sparta, and they were like, hey, our huge army's coming up here, and we're going to take over Greece. We don't want to fight. We don't want to do anything. Nothing's going to change. You'll still be king. All you have to do is kneel, bend the knee to our king, and he'll give you a whole bunch of money, and your lives will still be great. Sounds like, okay, not a bad deal, right? But now he would be giving up Sparta, the essence of it, to have to do whatever another king said for what? Comfort and riches. So all Xerxes, the king, asked for was bend the knee. Give us your soul, and we'll give you life more abundantly, so to speak. So what did Leonidas say? He kicked the dude down like a 400-foot hole and killed him, and then they went to war. But they didn't go to war just yet. Leonidas knew it was coming. He knew that his country was inevitably about to get taken over. But nobody was doing anything about it. Everybody was just sitting around letting the Persians come. So he, at that moment, said, my life's not worth it anymore. He gave up his life, took on a soul, acknowledged more of his soul, and took 300 other Spartans, and they met at one spot. And with 300 Spartans and a couple of thousand Macedonians, he took on the hundreds of thousands, possibly low millions, Persian army, knowing he was going to lose, knowing he was going to die the whole time. But because they killed a king, now all of Greece has to go to war. And in turn saved his entire country because he got everyone else involved. From that moment that the king came in and challenged him, and he knew all of his people were going to be subject and slaves, sell their souls, he gave his life so that they could keep their souls. Didn't work out with them at the end. Very similar story. You see this all throughout history. It's part of the hero's journey. What about this guy? Everybody heard Jesus? Anybody ever read the Bible? Okay, there we go. Now we're in some common ground, right? So what about Jesus? What was Jesus' life? Did he have a cool life, have a good career, find a wife, have some kids, just live a good life? He wasn't living his life from the beginning. He was living his soul through everything he did. His soul was more important that he gave his life, as the story goes, for all of us. But during his life, at one point, Satan when he was up on the mountain, Satan tempted him, showed him the whole world. He's like, hey, all you have to do is worship me, and you get all of it. You get the world. And at that moment, Jesus chose soul over his life. He's like, I don't care about anything you can give me in this life. I'm sticking with my soul. He said, get thee hence. And it didn't work out for Jesus. He knew he was going to have to die, or he could have been king of the world. And to save his soul, he sacrificed his life for that. But what's different about this story than Leonidas and Braveheart? The Spirit, he came back for us. He was something different. He was more than just a man, more than just a soul. So you see this all throughout history. Again, these are just very few examples. Eric was just talking about St. Peter. He didn't care about his life anymore. He cared about his soul, cared about the souls of others, so he gave up his life. Do you think they're worried about dying up there? Do you think their life means anything with that? No, because they care more about their soul. You have St. Andrew. You have all the martyrs that got stoned all throughout history. You have all the martyrs who got their heads cut off just for being Christian. Their lives didn't matter anymore because they acknowledged more of their soul. Their soul took more, so their life dropped. So whosoever will save his life shall lose it, and whosoever will lose his life for my sake shall find it. For what is a man profited if he shall gain the whole world and lose his own soul? Or what shall a man give in exchange for his soul? So it's very hard to have an equilibrium of life and soul. You can have a lot of life, but there's no soul in it. So is it really a life worth living? And the more you sacrifice your life, and the more you just stop caring about your life and more acknowledging your soul, actually, the more abundant your life becomes, the more life you will actually have. So, what shall a man give in exchange for his soul? Let's look at a soul like this so we know what we're bartering with a little bit. So, life is just what tethers or connects us to this realm, the earth realm. So, ties us to the known reality. We're not dead, so we're alive. So imagine life as the outside strand of this double helicase. The soul is what gives that life meaning, the purpose of its existence, the logos behind it. The soul is what carries the life and the spirit through the earth realm. It's what we are in. And the spirit is a divine entity. God is a spirit, the Holy Spirit, the spirits that I was talking about. The actions in your life either build or destroy your spirit. Spirits can destroy or save your soul. So the spirits, imagine, are all the little connections between the two ends of the helicase. You can fill these up with spirits of demons, or you can fill them up with spirits of God and Holy Spirits in every action you are, and that will affect your soul and your life equilibrium. So what is your soul worth to God? And Deuteronomy 6:5, and thou shalt love the Lord thy God with all thine heart, with all thy soul, with all thy might, and with all thy strength was added in the New Testament. So Ezekiel 18:4, behold, all souls are mine. This is God saying all souls are mine. As the soul of the Father, so also the soul of the Son is mine. The soul that sinneth, it shall die. It's still God's, but if you keep sinning with it, now it's not worth so much to God, it shall die. So Psalm 6:5, for in death there is no remembrance of thee. In the grave, who shall give thee thanks? Why would you want your soul to die? So what is your soul worth to Satan? So many times I've heard this before. I used to think this as a kid a lot. I was like, dude, like when Jesus was up there, he was offered the whole world. It's like, man, somebody, like you hear about somebody sold his soul to be able to play the guitar really good, or sold their soul to be a good singer. And I was like, if I was going to sell my soul, it'd be for a lot more than just something to sing or to play guitar with and everything. But then I was wondering about the devil. Like, what are the bargaining chips? If everybody in the world is like, yeah, sure, I'll sell my soul to the devil, no problem. Then all I have to do is just get the whole world. I'll sell my soul to rule the world. Well, what if 500 people do that? Because they don't care about their souls. They're going to share ruling the world together, all 500 of them. Their souls don't really have a lot of value to Satan, because harsh reality is a lot of people are already giving their souls to Satan, and he ain't got to do nothing. Doesn't have to lift his finger for it. They're already his. So the soul was worth to Satan. Jesus' was worth a lot. It was worth the whole world. But others people's, I don't really know. But also, when you look back, Ezekiel, all souls are mine, the souls of the Father. So they're not even yours to bargain with to begin with. And you can't really sell your soul to the devil. You can give your life to him. You can suck in all his spirits and kind of become a soul of evil. But you can't just exchange it as a bartering chip like that. So the Faustian deal, because you can still make deals with the devil. That is definitely a thing. But has anybody ever heard of a Faustian deal? No one knows what it means. So the deal with the devil. A Faustian deal, you get what you want. You make a deal with the devil, he gives you what you want. It's only later that you realize the price was way more than you expected. So for example, let's say it's not Satan, just for the sake of we're in church. If you could get just anything, you have one wish, what would it be? What would you wish for? Anything.
Money.
You want money? Okay, I will give you all the money, a bank account, right? So there's just this vault. And anytime you want money, you go in it and you can get as much money out as you want to. Like if you need something that's $100,000, you open it up, there'll be $100,000 in there. Sound good?
Yeah, sounds good.
Okay, but to open this, you have to cut off a limb of your body to open the safe.
Nope.
Too late, you already made the deal. That's just a bargain. What about you? What would you give? What would you just wish for if you had a wish?
Cut off a limb of your body. Like,
Yeah, cut off a finger to open the safe.
finger wouldn't be too bad, but arm would be.
Yeah. Eventually you just run out though. But what about you? What would you do? Just anything you wish for. It's not a deal with the devil because we're in church. Nothing? Okay, I don't know what to give you for nothing. That's kind of a weird one. But so one guy, let's just say he said, I want to view, like for music, let's say. Like I want to be the best musical writer in the world. I want everyone to just love me for all the music ever. They'll say, okay, you're now the best musical writer, but you can't hear anymore. You go deaf. So now is it worth it? Yeah. So somebody, okay, we'll stop. Because the only ones I know are really bad, and I don't say the church. So, but a Faustian deal. The price is more so than what you thought it was going to be for what you were getting. So, such examples from the actual book, The Faustian Deal, is exchanging opportunity for pride. So, I want to be proud of my accomplishments. So, I exchange all the abilities to accomplish something for that pride. I've accomplished nothing, but now I'm proud of that. Does that sound like a good deal? So, oneself for another. I wish I had his life over there. You get into their life, now you get all their problems and stuff too, and you still remember all of yours. Not a good deal. Power for greed. You're in a position of power, but you want more, you want more. So you sacrifice the power you have just to want more power. Does that sound like a good deal? Sacrificing power to want more power? No, right? So exchanging everything for hope. Everything you have just to hope for something better to come. Does that sound like a good deal? No. This is not something you want to give up for hope. If you have everything, don't hope for anything else. Exchanging dignity for survival. This is where it gets it hits a little closer to home. So today's world, what are we exchanging? Privacy for security, right? We're giving up. We're letting everybody look at it, whatever we do. They can listen to us on their phones, watch us through TV screens, and there's cameras everywhere, and we don't care. We don't care about it because they're keeping us safe, right? Safe from who? Exchanging social for distance. That sound like a good deal? We want everybody to be safe, so we're just never going to be around anybody. But at least we're all safe when no one's around each other, right? What's the point of being safe if you can't enjoy being around each other? So exchanging oxygen for a germ cloth. So masks can work, but it's the concept of the masks that it's kind of becoming a problem. So at work, sometimes we have to put on bandanas and everything. About 70% of us do the little chin thing, you know. We don't care. Nobody says anything anymore because people are still getting COVID left and right, even though they're wearing the mask, right? Some people wear them and are scared to death and haven't gotten COVID. Without saying names, what happens to people who wear masks constantly and then go to the doctor, Mom?
Their face breaks out.
Their face breaks out. What else happens?
Oh, lung problems.
Oh, lung problems, yeah. So at least they don't have COVID right now. They just have spots on their lungs and their face is broken out and rash and making them look crazy. So exchanging health for health, is that what we're doing? How does that make any sense? What does that mean? We're exchanging our health for somebody to try and make us be more healthy, which just makes us sicker in the process. Makes no sense. And again, we are exchanging dignity for survival. So F.A. Hayek has a good one. Emergencies have always been the pretext on which the safeguards of individual liberties have been eroded. It's kind of a mouthful, but you say emergency, everybody forgets all their rights, all of everything. Like, oh, we got to do this one though. And they slip right in. Communist Russia came in because it was an emergency. We're at war. Everything happens. So, take the Founding Fathers. Is this what they said? Just to be clear, none of this matters if there's a virus. So if there's a virus, just rip up the Constitution. They can do whatever they want, right? No. So you've heard this one's a super famous quote. Those who would give up essential liberty to purchase a little temporary safety deserve neither liberty or safety. This was said from the beginning. If you're going to let some dude come in your home because he has a gun to protect everyone else, but now he gets to do whatever he wants in your home, you don't deserve to be safe. You deserve for somebody to come in and take everything. Because guess what? They just did. They just did it anyway.
That was Benjamin Franklin, by the way, said that.
It says Benjamin Franklin.
Yeah, I didn't know if anybody.
What did I say?
I don't know if you did. I just in case you did.
Big face behind it. So,
He wasn't an idiot. He actually invented everything.
yeah, he had some
PhD
stuff.
and everything.
So, there are things in play today that a lot of people don't see or that's kind of masked. So the World Economic Forum, we won't go into too much detail, but this is something they're actually promoting. They view this as a good thing. So this says you'll own nothing and you'll be happy. You'll own nothing and you'll be happy. I'm not just making this up. Someone didn't just make this. You'll own nothing and you'll be happy. This is how our world could change by 2030. Read more at theworldeconomicforum.com. Is that cool? Hey, we'll give you everything you need. It belongs to us and not you. What happened when they said that to Leonidas? What happened when they said that to Braveheart? What happened when they said that to Jesus? What did Jesus say when the devil offered him that? So more from these guys, the many faces of the robot revolution. Adoption among companies by 2022. Humanoid robots, 23%. 23% of humans will have some sort of robot in them. Or it could just be like a finger, prosthetic, anything like that. Stationary robots, 37%. I work in a factory. Ours is probably more than that right now. Aerial and underwater robots, 19%. Non-humanoid land robots, 33%. Financial industries, automotive, oil and gas, and aerospace, all around 50%. So what about the HSBC? Your DNA will be your data. So you want to go anywhere, you don't have to show your license anymore. You just give a little bit of your DNA to them. They'll take that right up.
Tell them what HBSC is.
HSBC, we'll get to it. So HSBC, in the future, the food chain and the supply chain will merge. You can't get food. It comes in your daily supplies. Don't worry about it. We'll give you all the food you need. In the future, even the smallest business will be multinational. You can pay with any currency you want for it. Wonder why? In the future, there will be no forest left. They're saying these like these are good things, like people should be excited for them. Change is in the air, and it's because we lead by examples. Yours. Your example is what they lead by. They lead by us. The lie you participate in today becomes the future you live in tomorrow. Whether there be some truth sprinkled in or not, what we're accepting today is where we're going to wake up later on down the road. So Matthew 16 again, for whosoever will save his life shall lose it, and whosoever will lose his life for my sake shall find it. For what is a man profited if he gain the whole world and lose his own soul? Or what shall a man give in exchange for his soul? For the Son of Man shall come in the glory of his Father with his angels, and then he shall reward every man according to his works. What were your works? What were you doing while all this was going on? Did you sell? 1 Corinthians 15:51. Behold, I show you a mystery. We shall not all sleep, but we shall all be changed. In a moment, in the twinkling of an eye, at the last trump, for the trumpet shall sound, and the dead shall be raised incorruptible, and we shall be changed. For this corruptible must put on incorruption, and this mortal must put on immortality. So when this corruptible shall put on the incorruption, and this mortal shall put on immortality, then shall be brought to pass the saying that is written, Death is swallowed up in victory. O death, where is thy sting? O grave, where is thy victory? A lot of people want to save their own lives by giving up their soul. And this does not apply to you. Because you have to have your soul to make it to the end. And then once you have your soul and you die, oh well, O death, where is thy sting? O grave, where is thy victory? For death is swallowed up in victory. So, I said every bit of that just to ask you guys this. What is worth your souls? And that is where I'll end it tonight. Any questions?
That was 8 SBC.
What does it stand for?
I don't know what's what.
Oh, I don't know what you were asking for.